Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, or whatever it is. Again, I've took a hiatus from making videos after saying that I was going to make videos all the time. And again, after taking a hiatus, everything's changed. So, the Golf's gone. The white 3 Series that I had is gone. I've bought Natalie a car, and I skipped out on some spec to get a newer car before anyone comes in the comments pointing out things that it doesn't have. But this is my new, to me, 330D F30. So here it is, my new 330D M Sport. It's the best colour, boring grey, and you'll have seen from the shots we don't have the big blue calipers and we don't have the bigger wheels and stuff like that. But the main thing, it's still a 3 litre. That was the key. I don't have roof glazing because I've seen horror stories about towing and roof splitting because of they don't have a great tow capacity, but it should do for what I need it. But I'll be very, very on the brink of the maximum capacity. So we skipped out on the roof glazing. This basically allowed me to stay in the right budget and get a car that was around 4 years newer to what I was looking at. For the likes of the calipers, and when it needs brakes, I'll buy the big blue calipers, I'll put them on. That's easy. The interior's black, as you've seen, but I work on cars all the time. I get really dirty, I forget about it, I jump in the car, I would end up wrecking the coloured interior. Plus, there was none for sale with the colour that I do want. So if anybody does have a tan interior for sale, let me know. But the main thing it's missing, and the point of this video today, is the lack of the M Performance low line kit or splitter kit, however you want to call it. So we got one on order from CT Carbon. It has arrived today and I'm going to get it fitted, but the car is filthy. We've been up and down to Glasgow a couple of times this week because they're filming the Spider-Man movie, and my little one's a massive Spider-Man fan, so she had to see that. So it's covered in bugs, it's covered in muck. So it would be sacrilegious to fit a splitter kit to a dirty car. So first up, I'm going to get the car washed, then we'll bring it inside and we'll get the splitter kit installed. So as we can see, after a brief period of rain, the good 330 is all clean. So what we'll do is we'll get it inside, we're going to get it dried up, I'm going to hit it with a wee quick bit of Maguire's Quick Wax, and then we're going to get on to fitting the splitter kit. So what we have for the car here is the CT Carbon M Performance splitter kit, low line kit, however you want to go. So front splitter is in 3 pieces. These are your, go with that side because that's the right side, kind of bumper corners. So these will get taped in like so, and then the splitter portion bolts to them. There's obviously a couple of bolts and stuff underneath the car that we'll have to remove and utilise. We've got the M Performance rear diffuser. This will replace the grey piece with a nice kind of slightly more aggressive finned article. Same again, that just kind of goes in with the OEM clips and a couple of fasteners along the bottom. And then we've got the side skirt extensions, which just a bit of tape and some self tappers, and they're generally alright. So we'll try and get the front of the car maybe jacked up or on some wood. Probably start with the front splitter because it's probably the most time consuming part. So we've got the front splitter bolted up together now. I've got some double-sided tape on the top edges and the insides, kind of just where it's going to end up touching the bumper. And I would recommend cutting the bolts down. The supplied bolts were maybe a wee bit too long, or just have bolts. I didn't have bolts, so I just cut them down. But everything's tightened up, so I'm going to remove the tape. I'm going to get a hold of Ross, who's currently just washing up his van. And it's probably better off doing it with two people, because that means two of you can take a side each and just push it in. I've also removed the bolts from the bumper. It'll be... Right guys, it's another day, and I feel like all I do with this YouTube channel is apologise for not filming stuff. This time I do have a good reason though. I messed up. I hadn't deleted all of my previous edited videos off of the app that I use to edit. I do everything on my phone, filming, editing, posting. And I hadn't realised that said app was taking up all my phone space. So I kept running out of memory, kept trying to delete stuff off my phone. Wasn't giving me enough to film with. So the kit is on. You haven't really missed much though. Obviously I kind of showed you the assembled front splitter. Side skirts were just self-tapering on, and the rear diffuser was 6 or 7 bolts, and then it just clips out, the bumper clips in. I will show you it, but the kind of beautiful part of not being able to have finished that on camera is this video is now really short, which means I need filler content, and we got another delivery for the car today, so let's get a look at that. So what we've got today is Vogtland lowering springs for the good 330. Now, because mine's a 330 and it's not an X-Drive, it's the man version, it's purely rear wheel drive, these go 45mm lower. 45mm lower, we'll see. Might not make a great difference, but it should do a good job. I believe someone must have fitted the wrong springs to the car before, because I have never seen an M Sport with that much arch gap. It's horrific, and it's got to go. So I'm kind of in the middle of sorting out a few things for the GT86 just now. Nothing exciting, I'm just tidying through some stuff, sorting out stuff into piles of like, I don't need this. So I'm going to quickly move that around. I'll get the car in, we'll get it jacked up, and I'll show you how to change the springs. So we're in the unit, we're jacked up. Ignore that, they'll get changed. So for doing the fronts, what you want to do first is unbolt the drop links, which I didn't film because nobody really wants to watch that argument. Then what you're going to do with these is undo the strut brace bolt and then the 5 top mount bolts. These are weird. Instead of taking the hub out, sliding that down, then getting the strut from the top, you want to take the top mount bolts off at the top. Then you need to bring this down. Sometimes you might need to loosen that arm a bit, and then pivot it out past the wing. Terrifying, but that's the way. So we'll get those bolts undone and then we'll pull it out. So we've got the fronts on, as I said, top mount bolts off, drop it. Once you've got the shock out, undo this bolt, top mount comes off, change the spring round. You can use spring compressors. I done that with the first one, it took longer. Don't do it with spring compressors, do it the hooky way. But now we're on to the back, and while this is jacked up, I can show you the diffuser. So you've got 2 bolts here, either side of it, and then you've got the 3 bolts in the middle. So you undo them, and it's literally just clipped into the bumper. So you pull it out, once that's out, put the new one in, bolts back in, all goes in with the OEM holes. Very good, very nice. But now we will get the wheels off so we can get into the rear springs. So once you come under, you've got these plastic covers here. They're held on by 4 10mm nuts. Take that off, get it to the side, and that will allow you to get to these 2 bolts here that holds your shock and holds the hub to the lower arm. Take them out and it will give you the swing on the lower arm to bring it down and get the factory spring out. So we're over at the other side now because it's just easier to video, and I want to point one thing out. Once you get your 2 bolts out, your arm will pop down with the tension of the spring. What you can do is you can put a jack under it so it doesn't lose tension. But on this side, one thing you want to make sure to remember is, I'll see if I can get to it from here, your headlight level sensor. Now you can pop them off for this wee ball joint. It can be a peg to do. Fortunately on the F-Series It is held on with a stud that comes through the top of the arm. It'll be like this, through a wee hole, and that's only held on by a 10mm nut. So you always want to remember to take this off. It can bend things, it can break things, and you'll have a nightmare with your headlights. There is one on the front as well, I definitely forgot to mention that, but always something to note. So once you get to this stage, you're essentially going to want to push the arm down a bit more. It'll release the spring and you can get it out. I would try and get it on video, but very hard to do one-handed, so I'll show you in a wee second. So you'll get your spring out. Spring's got a kind of rubber seat on the bottom and on the top. Obviously make sure you transfer them over to the new spring, and then it's just reverse process. Pull the arm down, get the spring in, and then get all the bolts done up. So that's us, got it finished up. Diffuser, side skirts, springs, and the splitter. Sits really well on the Volkswagen springs. Obviously they might settle a wee bit, but we'll see how that comes. We do still have a spoiler to come. We got the wrong one initially, and I've ordered some rear spats that tie in with the performance kit. So obviously, as I said, we've still got spats and a rear spoiler to come. I'll maybe try and make a video out of it, but that would be a pretty short video, so I'll maybe try and tie it in with something else. I do have quite a bit of paint correction I want to get done on the car, so could maybe tie that into the same kind of video, but we'll see what happens. But again, thanks for watching. Give it a like, a comment, a subscribe, comment. See if you think there's any kind of videos we should do with the car. We are going to try and get the CarPlay retrofit done as well, so that's on the to-do list. So if there's anything you want to see to do with the car, stuff to do, just drop a comment. I'll probably try and do it. Thanks again. Cheers.